My name is Jessica Nagy, and for my strategic analysis project, I chose PPG Industries. I've worked for the company since 2020 and am currently their operations accounting supervisor supporting their refinish business unit. So to start off, I'll go over a table of contents summarizing the presentation. So we'll start with the history of PPG, their mission and values, their 8 strategic business units, 2017 to 2021 key financial data and some social metrics, PPG's top competitors, their performance comparison compared to Sherwin-Williams, Porter's 5 forces, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of PPG, PPG's core competencies, and then I'll finish off the presentation with some recommendations for the company. So PPG was founded in 1883 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They were originally named Pittsburgh Plate Glass Company, and they specialized in the production of plate glass for the construction industry, as well as fiberglass and some other chemicals. After World War II and into the 1970s and 1980s, they started developing new technologies and products, which allowed them to move into the automotive coatings and paints and aerospace industries. Then in 2000, the company changed its name to PPG Industries to better reflect its broadened focus in the markets that they had gained foothold to. And then as of today, PPG operates in more than 70 countries and has more than 200 manufacturing facilities worldwide. PPG's main mission is to be the world's leading coating company by consistently delivering high quality, innovative, and sustainable products and services that their customers trust to protect and beautify their surroundings. And then from that mission, there are a list of values that employees such as myself can refer to as a guide to strive for excellence every day in their roles, which we refer to as the PPG way. And these principles are as follows. We do better today than yesterday every day. We run it like we own it. We partner with customers to create mutual value. We are one PPG to the world. We make it happen, and we trust our people every day in every way. PPG strategic business units, there are a plenty of them. We have 8 and are still growing. So just to start, we have aerospace, which manufactures coatings, sealants, and transparencies to general aviation, commercial, and military industries globally. And this unit was founded in 1920 and since has grown to have 12 sites in the U.S. and 14 other locations across the globe. Architectural coatings, or what we call AC, is a unit that has provided homeowners and professionals with stains and paints for over 100 years. We currently have a partnership with Home Depot, Walmart, and Menards. And PPG also has 635 of its own paint stores across the U.S. Since 1924, automotive OEM has been around in our business. They work to improve the image and identity of vehicle brands everywhere, and they have the ability to distribute their paints and powder products to body shops, like auto body shops, and provide them with a program called Paint Manager, which makes application as seamless as possible. Industrial coatings is probably one of PPG's most innovative units as they produce coatings for electronics, appliances, automotive accessories, and many other finished goods. Protective and marine coatings. This is a unit that not too many people know about. It's one of our smaller ones, but we create coatings for concrete and metal fixtures such as bridges that help the structures resist corrosion and damages that are caused by fires, salt, and other environmental impacts. Refinish is the business unit that I currently support. We only have one manufacturing site in the U.S., and that's located in Delaware, Ohio. And they create a broad range of products, including primers, sealers, waterborne paints, base coats, clear coats, and many types of resins. The packaging coatings business began in 1989. They mainly produce metal can packaging, and they also create plastic packaging such as bottles, caps, and other various types of lids. And then the Traffic Solutions venture started in 2021 through our acquisition of Ennis Flint. This mainly entails the marking of pavement through paint. So you can see in the picture to the left of the slide, someone is biking and the road has paint markings on it. So that's the paint that we create in order to make those markings. This table outlines PPG's financial performance between 2017 and 2021. Focusing on net sales and net income, we can see that PPG had a strong performance up until COVID-19 in 2020. However, the business did jump back pretty well that following year with net sales of $16.8 billion and a net income of $1.4 billion. And then checking out the social metrics below, I think PPG had an exceptional year in 2021, especially compared to the prior four. Not only did the company increase their headcount, but they've also been working really hard to implement some wellness programs, increase their charitable contributions, and also encourage members to volunteer more often. That's something that, we can do during work hours as long as it's within like a certain hour limit. But I think this movement does tie back to PPG's mission to serve their communities in a better way, and also help their employees help make a difference. Since PPG does have businesses in 8 different industries, they have gained many competitors. The top 3 that I would mention are Sherwin-Williams, AkzoNobel, and Axalta Coating Systems. So Sherwin-Williams, they definitely have most of the market share in the paints and coatings industry. They've been partnered with Lowe's Home Improvement Store for a while. And just in general, whenever I'm traveling, I usually have to mention Sherwin-Williams to better explain PPG. A lot of people outside of Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh don't really know about PPG unless they compare it to the Pittsburgh Paints Arena that the Penguins, our hockey team, plays in. And then AkzoNobel, they have some market share in the automotive and marine coatings industries. They were Dutch founded, and then I do believe that PPG acquired a piece of their North American business, but still overall, they are a competitor, and they recently just stepped into the marine coatings field, which I thought was interesting that they're diversifying their portfolio to have a better competitive edge to PPG. And then Axalta Coating Systems, that's our next competitor, or top competitor, that's in the automotive coatings industry. But PPG currently creates a lot of paints for, General Motors, Ford, Chrysler, Toyota, Volkswagen. I can name so much more. So I don't really see that being too much of a concern that Axalta is a competitor, because we definitely have more market share in that industry. And then for performance comparison, this is between PPG and Sherwin-Williams. I created this a few weeks back. This is based on 2022 financial performance data. And as we can see in this chart, Sherwin-Williams outperforms PPG in nearly every area. I was pretty surprised about the R&D metrics there. I thought PPG would have been a bit higher, but I mean, our R&D teams probably focus a little bit more on our other units that are bringing in more revenue year over year. And then for long-term assets, I was not too surprised to see that one. I think PPG has a lot of work to do in this area. I work pretty closely with our fixed assets team, and definitely see that this is a disadvantage for our company. For Porter's 5 forces analysis, the intensity of the competitive rivalry and bargaining power of suppliers are definitely the most significant forces exerting pressure on PPG. We know that they operate in a highly competitive market with very large players. And even the company's suppliers are often large global players themselves. So that's significant bargaining power that they have to negotiate prices and terms. PPG does leverage its research and development to create new innovative products that kind of combats that rivalry that they have with other companies. And then to address the bargaining power of suppliers, PPG has implemented programs to improve its supplier management processes. We currently utilize a system called ePro. That's pretty new. We're still working out a lot of, issues, I guess I would say, with it. It's a pretty new system we implemented last year, but in the long run, I think that's really going to help us in that area. And then for PPG SWOT analysis, some strengths that I would mention is their global presence, their research and development capabilities, their brand reputation, and their distribution networks, which I've already mentioned. Weaknesses would be their high debt levels, their dependence on their automotive and aerospace industries. Those are, the big revenue, markets that we have. We really focus on those year over year. But I think that, there's times where those industries don't do too well. So I think that we should really focus on improving that dependency. And then just dependence on raw materials from specific suppliers. I've seen some issues with fulfilling orders just because we're having, supply chain issues. I think it would be good for us to have more than just a couple suppliers in case we see this sort of problem through further economic stability. Some opportunities would be continually acquiring companies. I think that's a really good strategy that PPG has to, bring on smaller companies that really complement our brands. Eco-friendly products, I think, that's going to be a huge opportunity in the next coming years as people really switch to have, more natural, greener products. And then the expansion into emerging markets, I think, going to medical devices and coatings would be pretty interesting for PPG, and I think some of our competitors already do that. And then some threats would be economic instability. We've seen that has been rough the past few years. Intense market competition, we mentioned. Fluctuations in raw material costs. Inflation has been crazy for like the past, 6 to 9 months. Definitely have seen that as a cost accountant. And then regulatory pressures were, worldwide, so it's definitely a threat to keep up with that. And you just make sure that we're following those as needed, and we don't have any problems creating our current chemicals and products, and don't have any issues there. Some core competencies relate to innovation, brand loyalty, and distribution networks. These have been really unique capabilities and skills that PPG has had, I think, since they began back in 1883. Without their innovation, they really wouldn't have expanded into 8 different markets. And they're continually looking for ways and other opportunities, which is a huge core foundation of the company. The brand loyalty is also huge. I know I mentioned with our paints, not too many people in the US really know PPG in paints compared to Sherwin-Williams, but in our other units, they definitely have brand loyalty. And then just our distribution network, since we're located worldwide, we've made it really easy for customers to obtain our products. And then some recommendations I have. I really do think it would be a good opportunity for PPG to expand into the medical technologies, coatings, and devices industries, utilizing research and development to create more eco-friendly products, and also maybe doing better in their architectural coatings unit. Strengthening customer relations, I think, is really important right now. As I mentioned, we just implemented that ePro system, and then I think that's kind of caused some tensions with our suppliers because they've had to learn a whole new system, so I think there's some improvements there. I would have PPG reconsider their long-term asset investments, just from what I've seen in my own work day to day, and then just comparing that to Sherwin-Williams. And then just upgrading social media and marketing strategies. If we compare Sherwin-Williams and PPG on social media, like on Instagram, Sherwin-Williams just has such a much larger following,